Hey, welcome to the Kids Ministry Leader Podcast. My name's Scott Murish. This is my wife, Tricia, and Michaela Risk, and we are here today to talk about engaging conversations with great ministry leaders. So I just want to say, wow, this is kind of fun. We're starting something brand new, and why are we here, guys?
Well, we're here because we love you guys. We're passionate about having great conversations that are going to engage, equip, and encourage you, the listener.
Yeah, totally. So, Tricia, we're going to interview you today. I know this is raw and real and absolutely unscripted, so we're just going to have a lot of fun doing this. So the first thing that we're going to do in this conversation is we're going to talk about questions that really pertain to all of us, and hopefully are going to inspire you, the listener, to want to tune in and listen in and be a part of the conversation and talk back to us. I mean, go back on our website, email us, get in the chats that we're going to be starting, and just let us know what you're going through. And we want to answer some of those questions. But I'm going to start with my wife. We've been married for 32 years.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell them about our kids?
Oh, wow. We have great kids. Every mom loves to talk about her kids, right? So we have 4 children, 3 boys and 1 girl, and 3 are out of the house already, and 2 are married, and then we have 1 still at home. He's a junior in high school, so we're not quite to the empty nest yet, but we're, a couple years away.
But mostly 4 grown kids, and they're just awesome.
Yeah, they all are involved in their churches and serving the Lord, so we feel very blessed.
Yeah, very blessed indeed, absolutely. So, Michaela, tell us about your family and where you are in life right now.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been married for almost 5 years.
Woo-hoo.
Woo-hoo.
Can't believe it.
So stoked about that. And this last year, we just had our first kiddo. So we have a little baby girl. We thought she was going to be a boy, so it's been a really fun year of bows and frou-frou things when I thought it was not going to be. But
oh my goodness,
it's super fun. We're up in the Twin Cities, but recently moved back to be close to family. And so all of my in-laws and my parents all live here. Most of our siblings do, so it's just a big happy family. And sometimes I feel like a semi-adopted child to the Mourishes. So I've gotten to be with them a lot. I was really grateful to grow up in their kids ministry, and they were some of the main mentors throughout my upbringing, still up until today. I still consider them that. So I'm so excited to be on this project with them because they feel like home to me. So it's so great.
You're so wonderful.
You are wonderful, Kayla.
Because of you apparently. So
I don't know.
Oh no, your mom and dad are awesome.
True, but, they are.
Yeah, the magic of this is that relationships are everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that you can only take one thing with you to heaven, and that's relationships. So build as many on earth as you possibly can. And Michaela is one of those relationships that we just love. But she's a part of the podcast because of her unique perspective. She's a choreographer. She's a curriculum writer. She does kids outreaches and all sorts of great stuff. She produces action songs. Oh my goodness, we've done some videos that you would laugh at now, but they're wonderful.
Yeah.
They're just great. So thanks for the background. I guess I've just been in ministry since we got married over 30 years ago. I've pastored, senior pastored, been a youth pastor, and been a children's pastor. And the most fulfilling thing in my life, again, is equipping people and putting good tools in their hands. So let's ask the questions.
Yeah, let's get to it.
All right.
Are you ready?
Hopefully.
All right, Tricia, tell us about your call to ministry.
Wow. Well, I grew up in church, grew up in a Christian home where my parents served. My dad was a chaplain in the jail, and my mom taught Sunday school I was there every time the church doors were open. And I had an opportunity to go to camp. Camp played a big part of my life when I was a child and in middle school and high school. And one year when I was at a high school camp, I was 14 years old. And I can tell you the song that was playing. And it was Oh, How He Loves You and Me. And I just knew I was at the altar. And I knew that God was putting his finger on my life. Somehow I would always serve him. So that's what I consider my call when I was 14. And I did go through school and went to a Southwest Baptist University in Bolivar, Missouri, and graduated with a degree in elementary education. And then through the years, Scott and I were married. I was a very young youth pastor's wife when we were first married.
Yeah, right out of Bible college.
Yes, and then served alongside of him with a whole heart, really, all the years of ministry. And during those times, as many ministry wives do, we serve wherever there's a need. But I've directed the preschool program. I've directed kids musicals, Christmas musicals for years, served as the girls ministries director, helped on stage with songs and choreography with Michaela, and just a lot of things. Then our years that we spent with Royal Family Kids did a lot with the music there. So through the years, done a lot in the church. The times when we were senior pastoring, also taught Bible studies and those types of things, and helped with worship. And now, for the last 14 years, I'm also have my own business. I'm a Kindermusik educator. I'm a top program Kindermusik educator, and just love offering what Kindermusik brings, even though it is not a specifically Christian organization. I'm a believer, and so when I'm there, I can share the Lord through my being there to the families that I serve. And I serve families with children from birth all the way through kindergarten. And we have interactive classes, and it's just a joy for me to be there and to really invest and affirm and equip and really be a cheerleader for young parents. I just love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. Kayla, why don't you take the next question?
Yeah, so Tricia, we want you to share with us a ministry fail, something that you either blew up in your face, it was a knockdown that you just would rather either not exist, or you could go back and fix it. What's a ministry fail?
Well, ministry fail, I was thinking about that, and I mean, there's probably lots of things that I've probably blocked out, that I'm not remembering because they were so bad. But, I just wanted to share too. I mean, I mentioned that Scott and I were senior pastoring for a few years. We had done youth and then children. And then my dream was to pastor this little church. And it wasn't so little. I guess we had a staff member. But that was my pinnacle of my dream of what I wanted. And then all of a sudden, after a couple of years, God called Scott back to children's ministry, and it kind of rocked my world. So to go from being a pastor's wife, where I was involved in kind of teaching and leading a lot of things, to come back and be on staff at a larger church where there was multiple staff, it was a difficult kind of identity crisis. So for me, I felt like a failure, coming and just having to figure out where I fit and what I wanted to do and where I felt my ministry was, and I really wrestled with that for months. And I think it was finally when I just relaxed and said to the Lord and to my husband, I just want to serve alongside of you. I want to be your wife, and I want to support you and do what it takes for us to do this together instead of trying to find my own place. I feel like I settled in, and things really were able to take off from there.
Yeah, it was a tough time.
Yeah, it was.
Of being in ministry and me realizing, man, you were really struggling because, Tricia played piano on the worship team, and she was a part of leading the women's ministries, and she led a Bible study with other pastors in our area.
Yeah.
And there was so much fulfillment from being in charge and being in the lead that when we jumped back into a large church setting from a small to medium church setting, you become the little fish in a big pond, and it
was
feels
tough. Yeah.
feels kind of lonely.
It was tough, but we got through it, and I really feel like I learned a lot about myself, through all of that, and where I was gaining my satisfaction in ministry, and my personal relationship with the Lord grew. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call that a ministry fail, but it was feeling like fail was around you.
Felt like a failure. Yeah.
Yeah. But thanks for being honest
Yeah.
and for being open about that.
Yeah.
So, Michaela, you want to ask the next one?
Yeah, so on the flip side then, like looking at like the lows, then what would you say is a ministry win? What's something you look back and you just want to celebrate? You're grateful for what God did there, and how He used you or your ministry.
Well, I'm gonna mention something that I think people struggle with, and that is kids' Christmas musicals.
Hey.
For years and years, it's like, who gets to do the kids' Christmas musical? And that was me for many, many years. And
By
I remember,
default.
but I really came to enjoy it and love it. And I remember one year it started, I felt like it was just an incredible win. And that was a year when we started back in August and met with my leaders that were going to be helping us. And we got together with popcorn and M&Ms and said, we got to be creative this year. And it was a wonderful night of connecting with those leaders. And what came out of it was actually one of them ended up becoming the playwright and wrote the musical that year.
Wow.
And
She did a bang-up job.
She did it.
Fabulous.
It was incredible.
Her name's Kyle Hansen. Shout out to Kyle Hansen.
Yep, it was Kyle. Yeah.
She was amazing.
And so it was that year, and just watching the kids just jump in, and it was powerful. And one of my favorite moments in doing kids' Christmas musicals is right before we go on to the stage. I always tell them the story. Maybe I'm stealing Scott's thunder here, but I always kind of tell them the story that, hey, we might feel like we're just going out there to perform, or there was a man who came to church, and he heard a kids' Christmas musical. He was invited for a kids' Christmas musical. He heard the musical, stayed and listened to the message that the pastor preached, and he was drawn in and didn't give his heart to the Lord that very day, but it happened very quickly after that. And I always tell him, you know who that person was? That was my husband, Scott.
It was me.
And so I love that moment when we can tell those kids, this is more than just performing, but I love everything that happens with kids' musicals because of the memories that are made, the talents that are uncovered, and the confidence that the kids get. It's a great time.
Yeah. Michaela, do you remember anything about those kids' musicals?
I remember, a lot. I remember, especially the Saturday rehearsals. Like, man, those are like the best memories because you got to have breakfast like in the church, and if you were like in the older grades, you got to like run back and forth from like the performing auditorium to the kids area, and you just felt like the top dog. You were like, I got this. Those are good days.
Pretty great memories.
They are great memories.
Which is funny that she should say that because the worst day for a kid's Christmas musical director is usually the Saturday rehearsal.
Yeah, that could be a ministry fail.
Yeah, true.
Saturday rehearsal.
Could be
this
the
is
fail.
never going to happen. And then it always comes through.
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness. Well, there's a lot of people that are dealing with ministry challenges right now, and especially you've heard this phrase. If we've heard it once, we've heard it 1,000 times. In the time of COVID, what are we doing to deal with ministry? So Tricia and I aren't on staff as children's pastors now. I actually work for our denomination, for our organization of the management of that for our state. But Tricia has a business, and she, as she already mentioned, she has a Kindermusik franchise and teaches. And so Tricia, tell us, how have you coped with COVID with your business / your ministry to the general public through this time?
Yeah, well, like everybody, it was like within a weekend, everything changed. I mean, the schools were closed and everybody was doing things online. And so I had to figure out what to do about my live classes. And we went to Zoom. So I set up my studio and just zeroed in on the computer and tried to stay connected with my families as best as I could live through Zoom. I didn't do anything recorded, but it was all live. But I think one thing that I've heard back from my parents more than anything that meant a lot to them was I took twice during this time, I took the moments to sit down on a stool and record a private message for every child. So now I'm serving children that are infants all the way through kindergarten, but I just took a moment, I sang them a little song, I put their name in the song, and told them I was thinking about them that day. Honestly, the messages were 30 to 45 seconds long, each one, and it was powerful just to connect and say, I'm thinking about you, you're special, you're not forgotten. Even those babies, the parents would play it for them, and they would cry when the message stopped. They would want to keep playing it over and over again. So,
Oh, sweet.
so connection, you matter. just letting the kids know.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Tricia would sit there and say, another family texted back and said thank you.
Yeah.
Or kids would record videos saying
Yeah.
thank you to Miss Tricia for sending them a 45-second note video. It was amazing. Would you sing that for us, dear?
Maybe I don't need to do that.
Oh, no, it's good. It's really good. I could almost do it because I heard it 95 times.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful.
So sweet.
Yeah, I just loved it. I loved it. So, Michaela, you have a little one of your own. And I know you being a new mom, how old is Lucy at this point?
7 months.
Oh, my goodness, 7
Yes.
months.
Yeah.
And so,
Not quite so little.
yeah, so you've been having to navigate being a new mom and all of those things. So just connection, having
Totally.
friends. What have you done to stay connected with friends during this time?
Yeah, I think it's all about the individual connection. Kind of like what you were saying, that each child needs a connection. I've noticed that with myself and with other moms too, that not necessarily the big gatherings are nourishing for our souls right now, but it's having maybe 2 moms meet together over coffee and both of our babies are there wailing away, but it's nice to have someone there that can be like, what is happening right now? Like, this is wild, and just having that listening ear, that individual connection for us young mamas is
Yeah.
really helpful, I think.
Oh, it's
Important
huge.
for all of us.
Yeah. And for us as parents, one thing that we've done to cope with COVID with our grown children is we love family game nights. And since we're not getting together, they're not coming to our house. We love the game Settlers of Catan. Maybe some of
Yes.
you like that game. But I rigged up with a wire, a coat hanger hanging
really
from the
something.
chandelier over our dining room table, and it hovers over the board. And so we have one board set up on our dining room table with a camera, and as we Zoom call with our kids, we'll play Settlers together, and we'll move the pieces, and we'll trade back and forth, but all our kids have their own sets, so they've got their own cards in their hands, and they're moving their pieces as well, and it's a lot of fun
Yes.
to
It
play
was fun.
an
It was
online
good.
game of Settlers of Catan with the cell phone hanging over the table. So
Yeah, you
you
get creative.
You
You
just
just get
have to get
creative.
creative. You
True.
just can't wait for someone to say, "Here's how you cope." What do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah,
Well, we're making up
absolutely.
ways to really stay connected because relationships are everything.
Yep.
They are.
They truly are. Well, I just want to ask next question, Tricia. What is a tool, curriculum, resource, maybe a website or something that you use that you love, that you've used through your children's ministry years that's made an impact?
Yeah, this may seem like a small and insignificant thing, but like I mentioned, I'll just go back to kids' Christmas musicals. We did a lot of actions, and also in some of the videos that we've put together for Royal Family through the years.
We worked, I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah, sorry
For
about
13
that.
years, Tricia and I worked on the national staff of Royal Family Kids, which is the leading network in the nation of camps and mentoring programs for children from the foster care system. And so that was something that we helped develop curriculum for,
Yeah.
and we produced videos for, and we wanted something that would connect to the kids, that they could memorize the songs that they were learning at camp. And we've done it for years. Michaela's done it, created action songs. But sorry to interrupt, but this is a great tool. So
No, well, yeah, so we would do action songs, and I wanted them to be meaningful actions. And so sign language is important to me, and I use it a lot in Kindermusik, very prevalent in Kindermusik, but in kids ministries as well. I found a website, it's called Signing Savvy, and signingsavvy.com, I believe. And it's just great because you can type in a word and it gives you a little video on how to do that motion in sign language. So it was a great tool for me. I remember just going back to that over and over again when we were coming up with actions for songs. So
oh, that's awesome. And kids remember them, and they will do them over and over again.
absolutely.
One of the things we did at Royal Family is we would all the children at camp would get an MP3 player, and we licensed the music and we secured the copyright to do this. But we would put all the songs from camp on an MP3 player and give those to the children, because bedtime for kids that have been through abuse, neglect, and abandonment is often a scary time. And so for these children to be able to listen to their camp songs as they're going to sleep, it's soothing, it's relaxing, but it's also wonderful. And I remember being a camp counselor. We don't call them counselors, a camp dorm leader or camp coach. And I remember seeing the kids in their beds as we were walking past in the hallway. the kids doing the actions as they're laying there going to sleep.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty powerful.
the sign language does translate
It does.
so
and it's
well.
meaningful. And yeah.
Yeah, so signingsavvy.com. We're not endorsed by them. They're not sponsoring
No.
this. We just
Just
love
something
it.
I
But
found.
we can sign them for you.
Yeah.
Nice. So how would you say thank you, Tricia?
Thank you.
Very good.
Yes.
All right. So another huge question. Knowing what you know now through your years of experience in ministry,
Yeah.
how would you start a children's ministry from scratch? What would you do first?
Wow. Well, I recognize that anybody that's working with kids is usually talented, because that's kind of goes with being on stage. You know, you have a lot of talent. There's a lot of raw talent out there. Usually you can do something. But I think sometimes I would go back and not rely on talent as much as I would rely on a team. And I would build a relationship immediately with parents and just start building and connecting with people to build a team, knowing that it shouldn't or can't be a one-man show.
Yeah, so easily. People select a children's pastor because they're good at a skill.
Yes.
It might be drama or music or script writing or curriculum writing or ventriloquism or puppetry or illusions, things like that. And people select kids pastors because they've got all these skills. But being a one-man show or a one-woman show just doesn't fly when you have so many kids and families to minister to. So building a
Not
team
in the long,
is huge.
Not in the long, yeah, not in the long game for sure. I think just investing in relationships and pouring into your leaders is really a significant thing, and knowing that a team is going to be so much more effective. And I remember when I was doing girls ministries, one of the things I just really loved to do was pour into the girls' leaders and create something special, a special moment for them before they went in on Wednesday night to minister to the girls. I was there pouring into those leaders, and that was really powerful.
Yeah, because Wednesday night ministries, they've often scrambled after work to not
Yeah.
only get to the church, but feed their family, get their stuff together, get to their class on time, and look like they've got it going on to be able to do ministry. But giving them a moment to breathe.
Yeah, to breathe, to focus, to know that they are important, that they're valued, and then let them go out and minister to the girls. It was significant, and that's something that I would focus on.
It's huge. Well, Michaela, I'm going to let you ask the last question then, and that is...
Yeah, where can we find you?
Yeah.
If we're going to jump online, how can we find Miss Tricia?
Well, that's so funny that you call me Miss Tricia, because I think everybody does. But anyway, just the best way to find me is actually through my Kindermusik business, and that's just triciamurish.kindermusik.com.
Yeah, that's
So,
Tricia. Yeah, Tricia Murish, Murrish. Kindermusik with a K on both ends.
K on both ends. KINDERMUSIK.com.
Yeah, a lot of people misspell that. Hopefully it'll redirect.
You'd find it.
It's good. Well, this is our first attempt, the first try at recording, and I got to say this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, folks, guests, listeners, we're so glad to have you with us. Join us again for the Kids Ministry Leader Podcast. Again, engaging conversations with great ministry leaders designed to encourage, equip, and inspire people to do great things as we add children to the kingdom of heaven. God bless. See you next time.